News Radio KMAN weather.
30% chance of showers and thunderstorms over the next hour or so, with a 20% chance of rain between midnight and 2 a.m. tonight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies and a high near 86. Overnight low of 65 on Tuesday with mostly clear skies. Sunny and a high near 88 on Wednesday with little to no wind. Mostly clear and a low around 67 on Wednesday night, getting up to 91 as the high on Thursday. Right now, overcast 78 degrees in Manhattan. The game is next on News Radio KMAN.
KMAN Daily Weather is presented by Fox Business Systems. How much does downtime cost you and your business? Don't let another second go by. Call Fox Business Systems at 776-1452.
The following is an exclusive presentation of News Radio KMAN, your home for K-State athletics. It's game time. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
12 more days, folks. 12 more days. And the Aer Lingus College Football Classic will be here from Dublin, Ireland. August 23rd. Hopefully it's going to be no warmer than the mid-60s. Light jacket, maybe even hoodie weather. I'm looking forward to the climate.
You're telling me.
The team is leaving a week from Wednesday. Leaving Wednesday afternoon and returning back Sunday morning. So it's going to be a short trip, but it's a business trip. Go there, go win a game, come back, get ready for North Dakota. And by the way, that AP poll is out now, officially with the AP poll as well. Top 25 matchup in Dublin. K-State and Iowa State kicking off Central Time. 11 a.m. Power Kick Game Day, 7 in the morning. Right here on News Radio KMAN. And also to the station to my 12 o'clock, 101.5 K-Rock. Welcome to the game. Mitch Fortner and Cole Dutchendorf. We'll take you through 2 hours today until 6 o'clock. A week from today, Wildcat Insider makes its return with it being game week. So Tim Everson will be in studio. We'll be joined weekly as well by the voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson. Coming up in hour number 2, we'll be joined by a very special guest, K-State soccer coach Colleen Corbin. She, along with her team, makes the season debut and her K-State debut on Thursday in their season opener against Oral Roberts here in town.
So sports season officially underway then?
Yeah, K-State
for the fall.
Sports season, the academic year starts officially on Thursday. They had a couple of exhibitions. They're both on the road. Heard they did pretty well in both of them, so that's good to hear. No official scores were announced, but I did hear they had a couple of ties. So very competitive soccer against two quality programs. And at 5:10, Colleen Corbin joining us at 5:30. At 5:10, it is our 11th question out of 20 as we enter the K-State football season. Single player achievements. And today we're doing Avery Johnson total touchdowns over under. I've set it at 34.5. 34.5. We had 31.5 last year. How many did he have total? 32. So I'm going to add.
Fantastic line.
I'm going to add 3 touchdowns. You know, when I did the over-unders last year on Good for a Wildcat first downs, fantastic lines all season. I should start setting lines.
Honestly, I mean,
working the Vegas
books
books,
with the sports books,
because
for sure.
Every line I set for the Good for the Wildcat first downs last year, every vote said over, and every time it was the under. I would have cleaned up if I actually put some money on that. People started throwing in some cash, and the house making some dough. That's how it works in gambling, I hear.
It is.
But that's coming up at 5:10 in our first hour. We will do K-State Classics with Cole this hour. That's 98 Nebraska. Cats, number 17, the preseason poll, AP style. But Cole has some overrated and underrated teams in the preseason poll. Let's lead off with this question, though, and this is today's poll question at the Game KMAN on Twitter. By the way, we also need to talk about a hell of a run at the FIBA Under-18 Euro basketball. A new Wildcat about to make her Wildcat debut. She's 18 years old. This coming fall was the MVP as Spain won it all. We'll talk about Gina Garcia-Sifon a little bit later on. Congratulations to her. Let's talk football. Let's talk a little fan experience, talk between the third and fourth quarter. K-State fans are looking for a little bit of a revamp. So let me ask you this question. We talked about this earlier in the summer. Like if we were to have a third and fourth quarter, between the third and fourth quarter song, like, for example, Wisconsin uses Jump Around, the place goes nuts. That's been a staple. It happens at every game. That's been going on since 1998, believe it or not. That's how long they've been doing it. Jump Around was like 8 years old at the time. Should K-State have this song as the third and fourth quarter song? Sandstorm. KSU.
I was gonna say it almost doesn't sound
KSU.
right without KSU in the background.
Yeah, Cole is mouthing something else over there.
Hey yo.
Yeah, he's the younger crowd. Okay. I got a short answer and a long answer. The short answer, no. It shouldn't. There's many reasons to my long answer why Sandstorm should stay away from football. First of all, it took us a while to earn that back, did it not? It took a few years to get that back. What was it, 4 years ago? I interviewed Gene Taylor. It was like the day of the KU game, big game, whatever. I believe it was Jerome Tang's first year. So that would have been 3 years ago, right? Almost 3 years ago? I don't know. Time is weird.
Yes, 2022.
Thank you. We're having a chit chat about, hey, so we're gonna have some Sandstorm, and I was kind of laughing at it. Gene was pretty serious about that. He's like, no, we're not gonna have it, and he's pretty frustrated about that because they played it earlier in the year. It was nothing but blank KU chants. So no, it's not going to happen tonight. Well, pretty much since day one, it was Jerome Tang, KSU, fighting for that so we could have it and have it often. I mean, the reason it really got it started in the first place, it was I want to say it was like the 2010 year, like it's K-State, KU, College Game Day was here, and during a media timeout, they started playing Sandstorm. The place just went nuts. It was the right time for a song like that, such an upbeat song. It crescendos a couple of times. If you get a long enough media timeout,
oh yeah,
and you get the double dip with the build up the second time, it's just perfect for that kind of moment, especially when K-State's on a heater. The opposing team has to take a timeout to try to slow K-State's momentum. It's the second half. That's when you play it. Jerome Tang, 2 years ago at Big 12 Media Day, told me, I think this was on air, that he wants it every game. I was like, I didn't say crazy, coach. No. It will dilute how special it is. I didn't say that, but I think he then told me off air, it's like, well, no, like a big reason I want that is because we're bringing in recruits. He wants, he doesn't want to take a chance on that recruit not seeing it. And I was like, okay, like I get that. Don't get me wrong. I get that argument. I think that's a fair argument.
And he's going to have a different perspective than anyone else in that arena, too.
But if you bring it to football and it's between the third and fourth quarter, all right, so it's North Dakota. We're going to play it in front of 10,000 people. Is 10,000 people going to go nuts for that? Or another blowout against Army? Is 15, 20,000 people going to be all nuts and pumped up to do Sandstorm just so we can turn the lights on our phone? To me, it's not the right setting. If you were to do it in football, the only appropriate setting, in my opinion, for Sandstorm, the way basketball built it up, is it's the fourth quarter. There's 5 seconds to go. K-State leads by 3 or 4 points. It's a one-score game. And the opposing team, let's say it's Texas Tech. Big game, right? K-State needs one final stand. Let's say Tech is at the 12-yard line. Well, 5 seconds left. There's probably one play left, or 4 seconds. Probably one play left. And let's say Cats are up 4, so Tech has to score a touchdown. Tech probably burning a timeout. Somebody's burning a timeout. Sandstorm. That's the only time, in my opinion. Remember Virginia Tech did that with Enter Sandman. It was a Miami game probably a decade ago. Well, obviously that's their entrance song, but Miami fires off a timeout. They're at the 40-yard line of Virginia Tech. They need a touchdown. They fire off Enter Sandman. The place goes nuts. Well, we don't use Sandstorm or anything really besides Crazy Train as an entrance song, which I don't think Crazy Train should go anywhere. So that's really the only room I think there is for Sandstorm because we have a particular meaning for it. Like, Wisconsin plays jump around a basketball not nearly as what it is in football. Not even close, but they tried it. I don't know if they still do it. I don't think they actually do it anymore because it just wasn't what it was at football. It's just two different settings. It's two different reasons to play the song. Plus, K-State does those in-game updates. They're sponsored. They're making some cheese on it. So, I don't know if you're going to sell Sandstorm to anybody. Maybe, I don't know, but...
You know, we got a couple other options on the bed music, too, like Let's Groove, Earth, Wind, and Fire, third quarter song. We get some Creed in there, some
That's
Higher.
ours. That's ours. Nobody's taking that from us. We've been using that song forever.
No, I think you're 100% right. I think that the basketball tradition should stay its own, and if K-State wants to do something for, that third quarter period, or even just have a song kind of on standby for those Sandstorm type of moments in basketball on the gridiron, I think that's completely okay. But I also don't think that they should steal some of the thunder in tradition. It's special when Sandstorm gets played. Some of my favorite moments as a student or just as a fan of K-State in general have been when Sandstorm is played. The entire crowd is 100% into it. You mentioned the second build up into the crescendo. That one is always electric, especially if it's one of the longer media timeouts. So I think it should stay with basketball. I'm on your side, and I don't have like the perfect answer to what should be. If there was going to be something other than the vote on the song, and then this will be the second half song that they do in the beginning of the first quarter, whenever they do that poll, I don't have the perfect answer for what should be like that song to get the crowd pumped up for the third quarter. But if they could find one, I think that'd be phenomenal because I think it would be good to have a little bit of familiarity, some continuity in terms of something to get the crowd going in the, it's a primetime Big 12 night game. You want to get the juices flowing in the stadium,
But here's another thing. I don't think they need it.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't think football needs Sandstorm. If it's the same scenario like I just gave you, or another one, again, K-State's up 4, Texas Tech takes over at their own 25, with a minute 30 to go, and they have 2 timeouts, and you need the crowd to get into it, or like last year when K-State's down, KU's in town, and they got the turnover, within K-State scores the field goal, 51 yards, thanks to the right foot of Chris Tennant. Love you, buddy. He's a righty, right?
Think so.
Okay. I forget these things.
As far as I know.
But the next series, that was the loudest that stadium was the entire game because we were just on the bunch of nervous people thinking the streak's dead at 15. Mm-hmm. But then the crowd came to life and it got loud. Mm-hmm. Like, at football, we don't need no stinking songs to pump up the crowd. Third down, it just comes with it. Third down, we don't have it. I mean, maybe that's actually where we start. Do we need a third down song? To me, I like it when we kind of got the jukebox going. It's something different every time. Different hype songs, from heavy metal to rap beats or whatever. I like the mix. Or a couple of pro wrestling songs have been mixed in. We probably need to update that Seth Rollins song to his current one because the crowd is more into that than they are the old one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it's something that the Bill needs because the Bill's going to have a great crowd kind of regardless of who's there. It's going to be we're going to be hyped up for this quarter for this half, for this specific play, kind of regardless of what's going over the speaker. You just kind of have to, I think, go with the flow of the game. But I do think like starting a new tradition would be pretty cool. Like a third, like you said, like in between third and fourth quarter. Again, and I don't know what that would be, but I think that would be pretty fun to have at the very least.
There's been times like at bowl games or something that Sandstorm has played and the crowd didn't do anything. It's like, oh, like, got some Sandstorm. That's kind of cool. Did it get played? Do you remember? You have better memory than I do. I have a terrible memory. Did it get played at the Big 12 Championship in 22? I
have no clue. Off the top of my head, I would say probably not. But I mean, I've slept between now and then. That's sure. A while ago at this point.
All right, we'll put that conversation to rest. We asked the question at the Game KMAN on Twitter, should Sandstorm, I just asked simply the question, should Sandstorm be played at K-State football games? So the update on that poll, it's actually pretty close. 55% say no, 45% say yes. I'm surprised how close that is. I just don't think it'll work the same.
I voted no.
Okay, turn on the lights. Okay, well, what if they're not night games, you know? Again,
I think it'd almost have to be reserved.
It's got to be the perfect setting.
Yeah, like night game against the top 25 Big 12 team, or if you're playing like a marquee preseason matchup. Those are like the only scenarios.
Here's what we'll do. Instead of the drones, instead of trying to do, we'll get the post-game drone show for North Dakota, but, there's some schools out there that do a specific entrance when it's night games. So maybe save it for the night game, when it's November, and we got a 7 o'clock kickoff, so we know it's already going to be dark. There you go. Sandstorm, everybody's got the lights up, but I'm about saving it for basketball. And not every game. 5 times a year, sure. Keep it special. We take a timeout. When we come back, speaking of keeping it special, that's why we only do it once a week. K-State Classics with Cole. He's got 2 games left. The penultimate, 98 versus Nebraska. Is the old face mask from Travis Oaks, is that one of the best no calls of all time? More on that game next. Cole watched it for the first time. You'll hear about it next on The Game.
You're in The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Dollars spent locally today help build a better community for tomorrow.
Quality Collision is still open for business while they improve the intersection by the dam. Dodging a few orange cones is worth it to receive quality restoration. Keep your car looking as good as the day you bought it. Quality Collision, where quality is more than their name. It's a promise to their customers.
Connect to anywhere in the world with 5 daily flights to Dallas and Chicago when you fly local with Manhattan Regional Airport. You'll spend less time driving, saving you gas and time. And more importantly, you'll get home quicker to the ones you love. Click your next flight at flymhk.com.
Don't just scream for ice cream. Get on down to Baskin-Robbins at Manhattan Marketplace and soothe that sweet tooth. It's hot out there, and Baskin-Robbins is here to keep you cool. From cones and shakes to sundaes and cakes, Baskin-Robbins is what you need. Locally owned, a Streeter family business. Our family serving yours.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Find more great local businesses plus special deals and offers when you keep it local on our website.
In Manhattan, building community means more than bricks and beams. It means innovation and partnership. At McCown Gordon Construction, we deliver feature-focused solutions to projects that shape our region. From advanced research labs to vibrant education, healthcare, and community hubs. We're not just building projects, we're building the future of the Flint Hills with unmatched customer experience and value-driven strategies. We're building for tomorrow. Visit kansas.mccowngordon.com.
Got a face for radio and a voice that won't quit? Good news! Manhattan Broadcasting is hiring for on-air staff.
No experience? That's okay. We'll teach you how to push buttons, crack jokes, and pronounce Wamigo like a local.
All you need is a killer personality and the drive to learn. This is your chance to talk for a living and not get in trouble for it.
Apply now and let the mic be your stage. Go to manhattanbroadcasting.com/jobs for more info.
Manhattan Broadcasting Company is an equal opportunity employer.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Luka's deal, a new deal for 3 years, $165 million, isn't just a contract. It's a declaration. When the Lakers traded Anthony Davis to Dallas in exchange for Luka, it was clear they were betting their future on him. But with this extension, the shift becomes official. It's Luka's team now, not LeBron. The significance can't be overstated. LeBron is entering year number 22. And with Bronny now on the roster, his role feels more ceremonial than central. And that's no slight, it's just the reality of time. The Lakers are transitioning from one talent to the next. Luka's only 26. The contract gives Luka more than just security. It gives him the keys to one of the NBA's most storied franchises. LeBron's shadow will linger, but make no mistake, the Lakers' next era isn't coming. It's already here. And the centerpiece just signed on the dotted line. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Capted Pagal, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
The Ramsey Show.
So I am 20 years old, straight out of high school. I moved to Phoenix, Arizona to start my own business selling furniture.
What does selling furniture look like?
So I go around picking it up, clean it up, take really good pictures, and sell it. I'll probably do about $100,000 this year net.
Wow.
Some of you are standing around with your finger in your ear. And then you got a 20-year-old with a high school education that's making $100,000 flipping used furniture.
He's laughing all the way to the bank.
Financial advice for everyone. The Ramsey Show. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on News Radio KMAN.
I'm Cole Dutchendorf with the Game Sports Update. For the third straight year, Kansas State football will start the season ranked. On Monday, the season-opening AP poll was released, and the Wildcats were ranked 17th overall, one of 4 Big 12 teams to start the year in the top 25. Arizona State, last season's Big 12 title winner, came in as the top-ranked team to start the year at 11th, while Iowa State and Texas Tech were 22nd and 23rd overall. That officially sets up a ranked bout for the Wildcats to start the season when K-State and the Cyclones meet up in Dublin on August 23rd. A handful of K-State's other opponents were unranked but received votes, including BYU, Utah, and Baylor, who were the first 3 teams out of the top 25 to start the year. TCU, Army, and Colorado also garnered votes. The Wildcats will attempt to start and finish the season ranked for the first time since 2014. Former Big 12 foe Texas opens the season as the number 1 team in the country, followed by Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, and Georgia to round out the top 5. The Kansas City Chiefs signed defensive end Nate Matlack ahead of training camp practice this morning. Matlack, a product of Olathe East and a former Wildcat, transferred to Pitt to finish his collegiate career. His signature play as a Wildcat came in 2023 as he blocked an extra point attempt that was returned for a 2-point conversion.
That's an old Seth Rollins theme song. Used it on third down a couple of times the last few years at the Bill. I got a couple ideas. There are some wrestling themes that make like great pump up music. I mean, that's kind of the reason why some of them are made to fit the personality of the wrestler. All right, we're back on the game. I'm Mitch. Across the glass is Cole's got his own camera now in the main studio. At Cole Dutchendorf 1, or is that how do you is it Deutschland instead?
Well, no, so it cut off. My last name is literally too long to have it as my username.
Okay,
so I think it's Cole Dutchend 1. So the ORF didn't even fit on
Deutschland.
There. It does.
I'm at Mitch the Ford on Twitter. The show at The Game KMAN. The Game powered by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. Tomorrow, Taco Tuesday. I haven't had the tacos yet out there, and I hear they're phenomenal. They fry the shells and stuff.
Are you going to find out?
Well, I think we should.
It's a good idea.
Go find
Let's
out
do it
tomorrow.
Live. Do a show live.
Yeah. Do the live taste testing.
Yes.
Colleen Corbin, new K-State soccer coach, joining us in our second hour. K-State Classics with Cole, 98 Nebraska. One of the biggest, if not arguably, the biggest win in program history. And let me lead it off with this. Going back to College Game Day, it was the first time College Game Day was ever in Manhattan, and Lee Corso made the pick.
Willie the Wildcat is a big win. Go Kansas State.
Lee Corso says Big Red is dead.
Like the rhyme there at the end from Chris Fowler, Big Red is dead.
Yes.
And of course, the Cats won the game.
Big Red was, in fact, dead following this one. Coming into this one, K-State came in at 9-0, ranked number 2 in the AP poll. They were number 1, like on the graphic coaches. Okay. Nebraska 8-2, ranked 11 in both the AP and in the coaches poll. Right away, Keith Jackson was on the call, and there was just some goofs in this game. There was a couple of times where he called K-State the Jayhawks. A couple of plays where it was Bob Grease who had to kind of tell him what was happening on the field, like not knowing either who players were or what even had transpired. Like there was a touchdown for Nebraska where he just kind of like, and incomplete. No, caught. Touchdown Cornhuskers. So it's just that was lacking a little bit. And also the cameras. I mean, there was a couple of times they were getting fooled on play actions, which happens from time to time, but it was like 4 or 5 times in this one. A late touchdown, one of the biggest plays of the game, was not even caught on camera. We had to see a replay to see even what actually happened. So ABC, some shoddy work overall. It was just not up to standard for what we've had throughout this series.
But Keith Jackson is a legendary broadcaster, and I'm sure you caught this at the beginning before the ball kicked off, before the game kicked off. Keith Jackson had this classic intro.
So from Osawatomie to Ottawa, from Leawood to Liberty, this may be a day Kansas State faithful will never forget.
Yeah, that actually stuck with me. I went back and listened to it a couple times. I was like, that was tough. That was a nice way to get us into this game. Last time K-State had beat Nebraska at home was 1959, and last time at all was 1969. So it would have eventually been 30 years since K-State had beaten Nebraska if Nebraska won this game. It would have gone to 99, and so 30 years was kind of what was staring K-State down. This was just a different energy from the Bill crowd. I mean, electric as soon as the game started. And really throughout a lot of this game, especially second half, which of course, but when the K-State defense was at its best in that third quarter, the crowd was really getting into it. I mean, it was special energy throughout this game, and you could tell from the first kickoff. So
2:30 kickoff, by the way.
It was
2:30.
You could not tell. It was prime time. Like they brought it all game long. First possession of the game, Nebraska cruises down the field, 8 plays, 80 yards, 3.5 minutes. They get a touchdown on a pass to their tight end, I believe. And then it was an inauspicious start for K-State on the other end. It was a 3-and-out on that third down play, a little bit of a trouble on the snap. Bishop was yelling at the center on the way out the field. He was like going under center to call out the play or whatever, or make a check at the line, and then they got snapped, nearly fumbled it away to Nebraska. Instead, they punt. And then Nebraska fumbles it, I believe, right away. I think it's the first play of that next drive. K-State falls on it. They would go down the field, and I need to find even on the notes where I'm at. I'm already getting lost. I'm not used to not looking up at my screen over here, trying to at least maintain a little bit of eye contact with the camera. Yes.
You're fine. Do what you got to do.
Yes. So K-State falls on the fumble. Their stat was K-State recovered 15 of their opponent's 17 fumbles on the season. That is a combination of, just some ferocious tackling you're forcing that many fumbles, but also the combination of a little bit of luck, being able to fall on that many of your opponent's fumbles, but also just the awareness of this K-State defense was top-notch throughout the year. K-State would go down to the 10-yard line. They get called for a hold. They pick up then 18 yards on the next 2 plays. It was second and goal from the 20. The second one was, the second play was the quick crossing route over the middle to McDonald. 4th and goal from the 2. Michael Bishop says, Bill, let's go for it. Bill says, okay, we'll let you go for it this time. And just kind of slams it in. There were a couple of lead blockers for Michael off that right side. Got into the end zone. He was fired up. His energy this game, he was intense in everything that he did, whether it was celebration, whether it was cussing out a center on the way off the field, whether it was explaining to Bill that he was down on a fumble later in the game. He was just very animated throughout this game. You could tell what the game meant to him specifically. I mean, the entire team and the entire crowd and the staff, everyone for sure, but to him. I mean, you could tell he kind of put the weight of the world on his shoulders for this game. I think it helped and hurt him hurt him at times, but I also do like that passion from a quarterback, too.
I would call it a nervous energy.
Yes.
Pumped up, but nervous. K-State, lot of pressure to win that game. Nebraska had been there before.
Right. I loved it. I personally loved it. I love that your star player cares this much about it. He's this into the game. I enjoyed it a ton. Nebraska punt, K-State, 50-yard run from Michael Bishop, but then he fumbles it a couple of plays later, just gets drilled from the backside because of a missed block from running back. He gets an earful from Bishop coming off the sideline. And then he got smoked too. I mean, he was rearing, cocking the ball back, ready to fire a pass down the field, and just got drilled from behind. Never really saw it. And then a couple plays later, it was from Crouch to Kenny Cheatham. This was the one that Jackson wasn't he didn't know what was happening on the field, but it was a dime. I mean, it was a great pass, great catch. Lamar Chapman was all over Cheatham all the way down the field, and it was just dropped right in the bucket. That made it 14-7. And Crouch, who actually didn't have great passing stats on the season, this was just his 4th start, was on fire through the air in parts of this game, which was not his calling card. I mean, he was like a 50% completion percentage, 340 yards, and 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions coming into this game. He had a pretty good game, really, through the air. Next drive, another fumble because Michael Bishop got drilled on a quarterback draw, got popped from the backside again, fumbles again. But K-State's defense was able to limit the damage a little bit. Their front 7 was scary. I mean, Damian McIntosh had some big hits. Jeff Kelly, Mark Semino, everywhere. Every single play, they are all in. It seems like you can't do anything without going through them first. They were, however, the K-State defense struggling a little bit in containing Crouch in the run game. But he was having a lot of open holes throughout this one. But they were able to hold on the next drive, limiting Nebraska to a field goal instead of a touchdown, which was big. I mean, comparing a 21-7 lead over a 17-7, that's a big difference.
By the way, you just brought up a bunch of fumbles. I don't know if you had this stat. K-State fumbled the ball 6 times.
Yes. 6 times. It
lost
really
4.
wasn't the cleanest game from K-State overall. Even though they made enough plays to obviously eventually get it done, it wasn't the greatest start for them. Again, they hold Nebraska to just a field goal on that next drive, 17-7. Then on the very first play of the next drive, K-State in a little bit of a hole, kind of needed to get things going as we get to the end of the second quarter. Aaron Lockett gets loose down the right sideline in a bullet from, or actually one of the rare passes that wasn't a bullet. It had a great touch and loft on a deep ball from Bishop to Lockett. He hits him in stride, another 30 yards down the field for Lockett. So they've completely flipped the field position. And then it was a really weird play on the goal line where it's just a huge dog pile kind of out of nowhere. Nebraska ends up with the football. They say Nebraska ball. It was pretty tough to see what actually happened. Bishop was really steamed. This was the most animated he was in the entire game. Whatever the case was that happened on that pile, and it honestly kind of looked like it was coming out. The ball was out pretty quick. I think he was probably laying on a couple of either O-linemen or Nebraska players. So the ball comes out, Nebraska ball. That's their 3rd fumble of the game, and that one was at a terrible spot. That was 1st and goal or 2nd and goal at like the 5-yard line. But K-State defense gets a huge stop, probably the biggest stop of the game up until that point and maybe for the entire game. And then 2-minute drill for K-State. They drive right down the field, couple of passes to McDonald, and he gets into the end zone on basically just a quick screen pass, makes like 3 Cornhuskers miss, gets into the end zone. Nebraska doesn't do anything, so it's 17-14 going into half. You still feel pretty good about it. There's definitely a nervous energy in the Bill, but like still a ton. It's kind of like with Bishop, where he's just super bumped up, but definitely some nerves getting to this crowd. This is the biggest game ever for K-State football at this point. So
yeah, no doubt.
There's one half football to go against a really good team and program, and you're right into it. You'd love to be blowing them out and not have the nervous energy, but that's not the case. Pretty slow start in the second half. Teams just trading punts a little bit back and forth. K-State's defense in the third quarter was out of this world, and really the entire second half, but the third quarter specifically, forcing like 4 Nebraska punts, and if it wasn't for another giveaway from K-State's offense, they could have put this game away in the third quarter. They were driving down to make it would have been a 10-point lead, I believe. Or no, it would have been a 14-point lead if they could have put more points on the board, because the offense for K-State in the meanwhile, it was another I got to think now. They got it on their second drive of the game. It was a couple of McDonald Bishop connections, and it was another McDonald touchdown that gave K-State their first lead of the game. And it was their first lead against Nebraska at any point since 1991, which is crazy.
Would have been in Lincoln.
Just insane. Also, I love fullbacks. Brian Goolsby had the only non-Aaron Lockett or McDonald catch of the day, and it was on like a 3rd and 3. Just a huge face mask, huge shoulder pads, makes one guy miss. He's dancing over there as he picks up the first down. It was a pretty clutch drive for K-State. They get up to that 21-17 lead at this point. Crowd at this point rocking. Michael Bishop waving his towel on the sideline, egging the crowd on to continue to get louder, and the defense delivered. They continued to dominate Nebraska in the third quarter. Semino had another great play back Nebraska up to 3rd and 16. Nebraska calls a timeout. Crowd gets louder. Incomplete pass, another punt. Then it was a huge punt return from David Allen, who had 4 punt return touchdowns coming into this one. Got it down to like the 15-yard line. K-State couldn't do anything. Settled for a field goal, though, 24-17. So a touchdown lead. Another 3. Now, actually, this one might have been the interception.
Well, it doesn't matter. Let's get to the fourth quarter, because that's where the game was put away.
It could have been worse, because, again, we go to it's 24-17. K-State can put it away, fumble, scoop and score, touchdown, tie ball game. Crowd, again, kind of shocked out of nowhere. K-State gets a field goal, and then Nebraska comes back, and their first any production on the offensive side of the ball the entire second half. They drive it down the field. They get a touchdown, miss the extra point, which ended up being not really that big because they wouldn't score again, but at the time that's a pretty big one. You go from up 4 and K-State needs a touchdown to score to up just 3, but K-State really clutch drive, moves down the field, another healthy dose of Lockett and McDonald, Bishop making some in-rhythm throws. There were a couple of penalties on Nebraska, and then it was a beautiful play. Bishop rolls out to his right. McDonald is the only receiver who goes to the left side.
Was it a beautiful play? It was a beautiful finish to the play. But wasn't the snap, the snap was really low?
Yes, the snap was terrible, and Bishop kind of had to pick it up and scrambles to his right.
And he had to scramble right away.
And it was only like 3 receivers on the route. We're talking like basically max protect. There's 7 linemen or whatever blocking, and like 7 Cornhuskers go to it was probably Lockett on the right side, and then McDonald just kind of leaks out into the end zone. No one within like 20 feet of him.
I think it's because of the low snap.
It's definitely possible.
I think that threw off the defense.
Yeah, it worked to perfection. That gave K-State the lead back with 5 minutes left.
About 5, yeah.
And the problem with Nebraska on their drive when they scored a touchdown to go up 3 was they used their last 2 timeouts. So they had 9 minutes left in this game with 0 timeouts. And that really came back to bite them because they couldn't do anything on their ensuing drive. They turn it over on downs. K-State bleeds the rest of the time off the clock. So when Nebraska gets the ball next, there's 20 seconds left. And then the hit from behind, strip sack, returns it into the end zone for the touchdown.
You're talking about Jeff Kelly.
Yes, Jeff Kelly.
That was a great hit from behind, and the ball rolled right to Jeff Kelly.
And he ends the game.
I've always thought I don't think he actually scored. I don't know if did you ever see a replay?
They didn't, because the crowd, they just had the crowd
rushed the field,
yes.
But I have the call here of the Jeff Kelly touchdown.
Crowd's in a shotgun, takes a snap, gets hit as he throws the football, it's loose, picked up by Jeff Kelly. Kelly to 20, 15, 10, Kelly to the 5, dives. Did he get in? yes, touchdown. Jeff Kelly, Kansas State leads 40-30. The fans are storming the field.
With time still on the clock.
Yeah, 3 seconds left, and then they stormed the field again because I don't even know what happened. I think Michael Bishop just downed the PAT, and they stormed the field again, and then again they run off the field, and then the final kickoff. Bill Snyder gets soaked with some Gatorade from Michael Bishop and the boys, and then the crowd can actually rush the field in peace and stay there for the biggest win in franchise or in university history.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, certainly for football.
At that point.
I can't speak for basketball back in the days, but in the 80s and 70s and 60s and all that. But football is not even close, in my opinion. I don't even know what you would say is maybe the 93, the Copper Bowl, maybe the bowl win is the biggest win previous to that.
Yeah.
But 98 against Nebraska, where you just got your butt kicked year after year after year.
I mean, hadn't had a lead in a Nebraska game for 7 seasons, and those were with some good K-State teams in those 7 years, too.
Yeah, there was a few. I mean, 97, the year previous to that.
Nebraska was Michael Bishop's only loss at that point at K-State.
Yeah, he had lost just 1 game. And Nebraska went on. I think they won the national championship that year with Scott Frost at quarterback. So, and they thumped K-State in Lincoln. Other than that, K-State steamrolled to 10 wins and got to 11 with the Fiesta Bowl by stomping Syracuse in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. So, I mean, truly a program-defining win. Kind of at that point, the culmination of what Bill had achieved at K-State. Obviously, he would go on to achieve more, but that was the biggest win in K-State football history, kind of by a mile at that point.
Here was the rest in peace Greg Sharp outro to that game, and it was a pretty historic. It just took 7 seconds off of it, but it was a pretty historic 7 seconds.
Well, today the color of choice is purple as K-State has beaten Nebraska for the first time in Manhattan since 1959.
Yeah, it's typically the Red fans.
Mm-hmm. And there were plenty of Nebraska fans there, but not as many as there were, 70s, 80s, when they used to come down in droves and have like 30,000 Nebraska fans in attendance.
By the way, I think I have the call here of the Crouch. I don't think we didn't really talk about it, the face mask.
Oh, it was terrible. It was a terrible no call. I mean, his face nearly got ripped off, and they didn't call it, and that was that. That was on the 4th down.
4th and 9 for Nebraska. Pressure coming. They got him. That's a face mask. That is a face mask, wasn't it?
The referee had his hand on his flag and didn't throw it.
Bill Snyder's reaction to that on the sideline was really good because
he played it off pretty well.
I don't hardly ever recall ever seeing Bill Snyder celebrate a play. But he's like starting to cheer and then like, oh no, like had this oh no look, and then
he played it off pretty well because then he was like,
flip the headset back down, starts talking, and they got the no call somehow. It was
legitimately one of the most egregious.
It has, I think it is. It has to be one of the most
because like his entire head
no-calls
gets completely yanked to the right side. He goes flying. I mean, it was a terrible
Crouch. Yeah.
Yes, terrible call, but K-State wasn't complaining.
So it's a good night from the happiest place on earth, Manhattan, Kansas.
A lot of memorable quotes also from that game. If it's Keith Jackson or it's Greg Sharp or whoever, a lot of them that are still played to this day. Yeah, iconic. Absolutely. Final score 40-30. That game also clinched K-State the division, if you didn't know. Because, it's kind of crazy, but Missouri lost. Missouri losing that game, the game that same night.
To A&M, right?
To A&M, yes. Put K-State in the Big 12 championship game. If Missouri would have won that game, then the North comes down to a showdown in Columbia, Missouri with K-State in Missouri, which K-State ended up winning by 6 points on ABC. Another nationally televised game.
That would have been cinema if it was, winners in.
Yeah, K-State barely hung on to win that game, to finish the regular season undefeated. That's K-State Classics with Cole. We have one game left. We'll officially draw for it on Friday, but it is 2003 Big 12 championship game, K-State and Oklahoma. That review coming up on our first Wildcat Insider of 25-26. When we come back, Cole's top 25 overrated and underrated next on the game.
Your home for K-State sports.
Good snap and placement. Kick on the way. It is up. And good! It's good! The Wildcats are champions of the Big 12 in 2022.
This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
My name is Lauren. I am one of the nurses in Interim Hospice. At Interim, we're a family-owned company, and we use that approach to support our families and our customers. I take phone calls from families, people in our community, answer questions, and help guide them in making some difficult decisions. Having a family-owned business, that completely changes the way that our customers or community are approached, because you can tell we're not a corporate-driven company. We build relationships, we will listen to those in the community, and we will hear you so that we can give you the best services available. Interim Hospice is here to help you focus on your quality of life, to have the absolute best days possible, no matter the amount of days that you have left.
We care, we're there, Interim Healthcare.
At ESB Financial, we think it makes sense to pay you. That's right, get paid 5.04% annual percentage yield on balances up to $20,000 with our free Kasasa Cash checking account. We'll even refund your ATM fees nationwide, and the best part is there's no monthly service charges or minimum balances to keep. All you have to do to earn your rewards are a few simple things each month. The best part? These things make banking easier. Visit esbfinancial.com to learn more. Special terms may apply. ESB Financial, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
At Thread in Aggieville, we don't just print shirts. We print personality. Custom tees that speak louder than words. ShopThread.com, where your style starts.
Buck Roofing focuses on customer service by responding to the roofing concerns of residential and commercial properties with the utmost professional service for nearly 20 years. Call for a free no-obligation estimate at 785-230-9379.
News Radio KMAN weather.
A 20% chance of rain tonight, mainly between midnight and 2 in the morning, with an overnight low of 66. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high near 86, mostly clear and a low around 65 on Tuesday night. Sunny with a high near 88 with little to no wind on Wednesday, an overnight low of 67. Right now in Manhattan, 78 degrees, a slight chance of rain here in the next 10 to 25 minutes.
The Texas Longhorns are the preseason #1 team in the country heading into this football season that starts in 12 days in Ireland. K-State, Iowa State, kicking off at 11 a.m. 30th season of Power K Game Day starts 7 in the morning. Myself, along with Zach Nemechek and Mason Voth. Unfortunately, Tim Everson will not be with us in Dublin. And soon we'll be announcing our Power K Game Day / The Game headquarters, which I announced last week due to stuff with my schedule and some logistical. I don't even know if that's the right word to even use here, but a lot of stuff to do with scheduling and having to be certain places at certain times. We have to actually record Power K Game Day the day before, which will be around noonish in Dublin when we start. So if you want to come out and join us, you can. But we'll announce that location here in a day or two about where that will be. The game presented by Bottle Caps Sports Bar. AP Top 25 is out. K-State number 17, Iowa State number 22. But Cole has a couple of overrateds and underrateds, which I'm very interested to hear who those are. And I know I have one easy overrated, which, by the way, 4 Big 12 teams are in the top 25. Arizona State at 11, K-State, of course, at 17, Iowa State 22, Tech 23. If it was cool to do, instead of doing a top 25 instead it was a top 28. The Big 12 doesn't get 4 in. They have 7 in the top 25 because 26, 27, 28, BYU, Utah, and Baylor, which I would put Baylor in front of BYU and Utah, maybe even sneak them into the top 25.
I will start with my underrated teams. I picked 3 out, and you mentioned a couple at the very end. I'm going to go a little Big 12 heavy on the underrated because there are 2 where I do think that they should be at least receiving maybe some more votes than they did. So my first underrated and the only underrated that I have that's not a Big 12 team is Duke, and that's basically just a Darian Menza crush that I have. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback. I don't really know much about Duke as a football program other than that he transferred there this past season, but I like 1 year of growth at Tulane, goes to Power 4 squad. I think he can continue to take that next step and be a really good quarterback and give them a chance to compete at the very least in a lot of the games that they'll play this season. They received just 6 votes, I believe, in this top 25 poll. So not a ton of love for Duke in this AP poll. My next 2 teams, both in the Big 12, Utah, I think they probably should have been top 25 because there's just no chance that they're going to have the same season that they had last year. Their defense was among the best in the Big 12 last season. Their offense was just terrible. And I really do think Dampier is going to be a difference maker in that offense next year just because of how dynamic he is. Even if he's turning it over like he did last season in terms of the interceptions, because the interception numbers weren't great, he's just too dynamic to not make a true difference on that offense. I think they're going to be really good this year. And then BYU, I think their success last year was so much more than just Jake Retzlaff. They had the best scoring defense in Big 12 play. They were actually only 11th best in terms of their passing offense. So this was not just a team that was reliant on a really good quarterback. I think they have some of the best depth still in the Big 12. Don't sleep on them this year without BYU. Now, my 3 overrated teams, we'll start with the top-ranked team that I thought was a little bit overrated was Miami. I'm just not a big Miami guy. I think their schedule was super weak last year.
You don't like Carson Beck, huh?
I don't love Carson Beck.
I'm not the biggest Carson Beck fan either.
I don't think he's amazing. And also last year, their schedule was cake. There were only 3 good teams they played all year. They lost all 3 of them, Georgia Tech, Syracuse, and Iowa State. They may win a lot of games this year because their schedule is just really easy, but I don't think they're a great football team, and I don't think they're the 10th best team in the country. I think that's grossly overrated for Miami. Then going to number 15, Florida. I'm going to have to see it to believe it with Florida. They've been extremely inconsistent over the past couple of seasons.
It's
really.
Quarterback hype.
Yes.
It's quarterback hype.
So until they can prove it, I'm okay to change my mind on Florida, but I'm going to need to see them have a season with any semblance of consistency to be high on them as a team. And then Boise State, I think they're probably going to be another top contending team in the group of 5 teams, but they don't have a cyborg in the backfield this year with Ashton Genty. So until they prove that they can have some offensive success outside of him being gone, because he was their team last year. So I think they're probably a little bit overrated as well.
How is Oklahoma not on your list? 18?
Because I was giving you the reins on Oklahoma.
Man, just different. In different days of college football. I cannot put the hottest seat in college football in the preseason top 20 based on recruiting. The hottest seat in college football. Nobody's seat is hotter, in my opinion, right now than Brent Venables, who 2 of his 3 years went 6-7.
They've got a brutal schedule too.
Had Dylan Gabriel in 2023 missed the playoff, right? 2020,
yes.
They got 10 wins.
And their schedule is really tough.
I think
SEC.
Sooner fans won a college football playoff. Get into those 4 teams, and if you don't, you're gone, son. John Mateer's not too bad, though. Jay Knott, he's okay. All right, hour 2 coming up next. Avery Johnson, total touchdowns, and K-State soccer coach Colleen Corbin after these words.
This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Whether it's game day or a night out with great live music, Bottle Cap Sports Bar delivers the atmosphere you're looking for. It's Manhattan's go-to spot for catching every Wildcats or Chiefs game and enjoying live music that plays the songs you actually know. Come early for a good seat, great music, and cold drinks served up right. Stay in the loop. Check out their Facebook page for the full schedule of events. Bottle Caps, where the music's live, the game's always on, and the vibe is just right.
Bottle Cap Sports Bar located on West Anderson across from Dairy Queen. Blueville Nursery's Horticulture Hints radio show comes to your radio every Friday morning at 10 a.m. We will discuss timely gardening and landscape topics to help you keep your lawn and garden in tip-top shape. Blueville Nursery has been your local landscape service and garden store for over 50 years, and we want to share our time-tested techniques with you. From vegetable gardening, spring and summer annuals, to shade trees and lawn care, we'll cover it all. You're welcome to call into the show to ask questions that apply to your own landscape or garden. Stay tuned to Blueville Nursery's Horticulture Hints radio show every Friday at 10 a.m. right here on News Radio KMAN.
Are you prepared for the future? Ensuring your legacy and protecting your loved ones start with estate planning from Adair Law. From wills to trust to powers of attorney, the team at Adair Law will create a personalized plan that reflects your wishes and secures your assets for generations to come. Thinking about the future isn't always easy, but planning your estate can be. With Adair Law, you can protect what matters most, your family and your legacy. Don't leave their future to chance. Secure your peace of mind today with Adair Law. Protecting clients with compassion is what they do. Call 785-776-2000 today.
Manhattan Broadcasting is an equal opportunity employer. In order to widely publicize our job opportunities and outreach programs and organizations that regularly distribute information to job seekers or refers candidates to employers, please contact us about our employment contact list to receive the most current information about station vacancies. For more information or to be added to the list, please contact Manhattan Broadcasting Company at 785-776-1350. Visit us at 2414 Casement Road in Manhattan, Kansas, or email front desk at 1350kman.com.
From lending options to treasury management services, KS State Bank provides innovative solutions to help your business succeed. KS State Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender, KMAN, Manhattan.
CBS News Brief. Complaining of crime, President Trump is activating 800 National Guard members to help law enforcement in the nation's capital. Retired general and lawyer John Altenberg.
The president could use what he's doing in D.C. as a blueprint for use in other cities and states. It would be more complicated because it's not as simple because there is a governor involved in the other states.
President Trump was asked today about his Friday meeting with Russian President Putin and why Ukraine's leader was left out.
The next meeting will be with Zelensky and Putin, or Zelensky and Putin and me. I'll be there if they need, but I want to have a meeting set up between the two leaders.
There was an explosion at a steel plant southwest of Pittsburgh today.
There is one deceased as of right now, and now a total of 10 injured.
One person remains unaccounted for. On Wall Street, stocks finished lower today. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
The latest news from the News Radio KMAN and Manhattan Mercury Newsroom.
Jury selection begins for a former Manhattan chiropractor accused of sex crimes. Riley County Police investigating after shots were fired over the weekend near a Manhattan apartment complex. And we'll recap an event for veterans that got some free shots Friday afternoon. Hello, I'm Brandon Peoples with a check of local news. Jury selection began this morning for the trial of a former Manhattan chiropractor, Clark Peterson. The 66-year-old is on trial for 64 total counts of sex crimes in Riley County District Court. Those alleged offenses took place over a 6-year period between 2017 and 2023. There are 20 victims listed in the case. Peterson is the former owner of the now-closed Peterson Chiropractic in Manhattan. He was arrested in August of 2023 on 19 total charges. Since that time, prosecutors have had more victims come forward and have filed 45 additional charges against him, ranging from rape to aggravated sexual battery to aggravated criminal sodomy. Peterson is not currently in custody. He pleaded not guilty during arraignment last September to those charges. His trial is scheduled to last through the end of this month. An investigation is underway after shots were fired over the weekend in the 2200 block of College Avenue. According to the Riley County Police Department, a report for criminal discharge of a firearm was filed in the early morning hours Sunday at that apartment complex. Officers listed the two men, both aged 21 and 22, as suspects, but have released no further details. Police say that incident is part of an ongoing investigation. Shots for Soldiers, a nonprofit that began in Manhattan 4 years ago, held a free shot clinic for veterans Friday at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. The treatments are for any veteran who has chronic pain in their joints, muscles, or has other impactful wounds. Doctors are provided kits and are trained how to inject the platelet-rich plasma, or PRP, directly into the affected area. Co-founder Frank Kirby.
Some of the doctors that have come for training, we offer them 2 kits a month for free. So Enzo Doctors provides the kits. Shots for Soldiers will purchase those kits and send them out to the doctors. in the 23 different states. They can do up to 2 a month, and we'll cover all the costs for the kits. They just have to donate their time and treat the veteran.
Friday's event honored Dr. Steve Peliquin, who died June 1st. He and Dr. Andrew Pope have treated over 300 local veterans with PRP injections since the organization's founding 4 years ago. Peliquin's widow, Leslie Peliquin, credits KRMC for opening its doors and having the confidence in her late husband.
He loved helping people. I mean, he saw 30 patients a day. He would come and do this after hours or squeeze them in. If he could have converted his clinic all over to stem cells, I think he would have done that, but it's not accepted yet in the medical insurance environments.
These free clinics are offered every 2 months here in Manhattan, and they also are available in 23 states. You can learn more at shotsforsoldiers.org. A thorough discussion of revenues and expenditures is planned tomorrow night as the Manhattan City Commission will meet for a second budget work session. City Manager Daniel Doolin will present the updated look at the 2026 budget preparation with elected officials. The initial budget proposed on July 8th would result in a 7% increase in property tax bills for Manhattan residents. The Commission on July 15th approved a resolution that would cap the maximum mill levy rate at 55.109. Now, revised revenue assumptions have forecast an additional $648,000 in revenue could be generated to provide a 2.4% cost of living adjustment and annual salary adjustments for city employees. City commissioners will meet at 6 tomorrow night in City Hall, and then we'll have 2 open houses for the budget taking place this Saturday and again on August 21st. Overall, it was a fairly safe weekend for concert goers at Rock the Plains. According to stats provided by the Pottawatomie County Sheriff's Office, there were 6 law enforcement-related calls for service that occurred Friday and Saturday at Tuttle Creek State Park, including 1 arrest for criminal trespass. Officers reported 2 cases of battery, 1 case of animal cruelty, 1 water-related call, and 1 nonviolent domestic incident. The calls were handled by the Sheriff's Office and the Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks. And you can look for photos from that event in Tuesday's print edition of the Manhattan Mercury. I'm Brandon Peoples, News Radio KMAN.
KMAN News brought to you by L&L Advisors. Local, genuine, and here for you.
News Radio KMAN weather.
A 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms later this afternoon. Same amount of chance of rain between midnight and 2 a.m. tonight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies and a high near 86 with little to no wind. That's a common theme over the next couple of days. Mostly clear and a low around 65 on Tuesday night. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 88 Wednesday night, a low around 67. Right now, mostly cloudy and 79 degrees in Manhattan.
Weather on News Radio KMAN is brought to you by Sunset Zoo. Memberships are a fun way to experience the zoo. Pick up your membership and enjoy the Sunset Zoo all year long.
All right, it's hour 2 of the game after work. Mitch Fortner and Cole Dutchendorf with you. First of all, I want to give a shout out as we have the game after work going on. I want to give a shout out to Gina Garcia-Safont, who will be with us here soon as she's now wrapped up the FIBA Under-20 Women's Eurobasket 2025. That wrapped up yesterday. Spain taking first place, and the 18-year-old was the team's MVP. She was the MVP of the whole thing. She is basically, as I now interpret this, the best basketball player Europe has to offer. So,
maybe of all time is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, potentially. She's pretty good. Did you see the highlight I retweeted?
I haven't yet.
At Mitch LaFrode on Twitter. Look it up right now. Nasty crossover to the left hand, and then goes with a reverse layup and a high kiss off the glass. Perfect English. Drops right into the bucket. It is one of the sweetest crossover dribble drives to the hoop I've ever seen into the reverse layup. I'll give you a second to look
nice.
at it. Okay.
That was pretty nice.
It was sick. It was awesome. It was a really cool highlight.
Get her to Manhattan ASAP.
She averaged 11.3 points, 5 assists, a steal and a half per game. Probably should have looked up her shooting numbers, but nonetheless, she was really good. Maybe you could do that for me real quick. I don't know if you have time, because the gal can play some basketball. I think K-State has themselves a bit of a talented pool of point guards to pick from, and I think K-State's in some pretty good leadership hands as well. A lot of great talent. Should be a more athletic team this upcoming season, but we still have months to get to basketball. We get to football first. Gina Garcia-Safonto, in this tournament, she was only being called Gina Garcia, so I don't know where the Savant comes from. That's like
I think a lot of Spaniards have that.
Well, Carla Bernat.
Right.
Carla
Escudar.
Bernat. Escudar is like her real last name, or I don't know what all.
I know Carlos Alcaraz, who's the young tennis player, is doing really well. Is Carlos Alcaraz Garcia, I think, is what it is. So that
just
a
give
lot
me the
of
full
them
name.
have them. Yeah.
Just give me the full name. It's your name. I mean, we do have there is a player on the football team that has changed his last name twice, which I don't know the story. I mean, I'm sure there's a really good reason, but Justice Clemens, defensive back, was Clemens a couple of years ago. Then it changed to Justice James, and now it's back to Justice Clemens. So do what you got to do. We're used to different names all the time. It happens. All right, still to come in hour number 2, roughly 5:30, we'll be joined by K-State soccer coach Colleen Corbin. We'll be calling in home opener coming up on Thursday. This season is getting ready to start. And the old ball coach in her first year are going to officially make her K-State debut. All right, leading up to kickoff on August 23rd in Dublin, we're doing 20 questions in 20 shows. And today is question number 11. And now we get into individual work, individual stats. Some are just going to be straight up predictions, and sometimes I'll give you an over-under. Today's an over-under because we did the same thing with Avery last year. And it's for Avery Johnson total touchdowns. And I did a lot of work today trying to figure out how deep do I think K-State's going to go, because that's going to affect your results on how many total touchdowns you think there's going to be.
That, to be honest.
Yeah, because if you have K-State, of course, making it to
they're in the CFP
Big 12 championship game and then get into the CFP, that's 14 games. So you got to adjust.
At least.
And also you got to think about rushing touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
How many rushing touchdowns is old Avery going to have here this year? All right, so Cole's going to lead us off. Last year's over-under was 31.5. Total touchdowns last year for Avery Johnson was 32. 25 passing, new school record for a season for passing touchdowns, and 7 rushing. A little banged up last year, a little hitchy in the old giddy-up. Holding that lower back in Dublin, ran in, got in the locker room quick, came running back out. Taquan Roberson took care of things. Then got the tutty to
in Boulder.
Jace Brown. Yeah, in Boulder.
I think I'll take the over, and
34.5, by the way, this year.
So I'll take he's going to get 35 or more touchdowns. A lot of that is I think he's going to maybe easily break the passing touchdown record, at least on paper. That's what I'm thinking going into this season. I think there's a lot of the teams that are playing in Big 12 play don't have great defenses. There are a couple of the ones that stand out, like Tech will have a lot of talent at the very least. Utah, that'll be a tough defense that you're facing. Even like Baylor is going to have a good defense.
Iowa State should be
you look
decent.
At UCF. You look at KU's back end of their defense after losing their senior class.
They're gross.
TCU, Colorado. A lot of teams where you're like, okay, K-State's offense and really specifically the passing game should be able to kind of assert their dominance in theory in a lot of these Big 12 games. That's not to mention, Arizona is not. I don't think they're going to have a great defense this season. North Dakota is North Dakota, and then Army's defense. I mean, just based off what you would think, stereotypically they're probably going to be pretty stout. But you look at their game against Notre Dame last season, and they gave up like 49, 56 points, something like that. They just got hosed on the back end of that defense. So I think some of the matchups Big 12 wise will allow a lot of opportunities for some big explosive plays where it might even not be Avery doing a ton of work through the air. You get a quick screen to Dylan Edwards and pop off a 40-yard passing touchdown, even though he's passing about 4 yards and Dylan's doing the rest of the work. Throw Joe Jackson in there. But also wide receivers, I think, at least compared to the last couple of seasons, a lot more talent overall. At least we think from all of the preseason hype. You look at a returner in Jace Brown, who had one of the best sophomore seasons as a wide receiver in K-State history, had the most yards ever for a sophomore in the history of Kansas State. I think he is due to, continue what he did last season. He has too much talent to not. I think, again, we talk about the tight ends. Might not be used as much in the red zone this year because there's a lot more options, but they're still going to be there. There's a ton. You're spoiled for choice in the tight end room. There's a ton of options, especially in the red zone when you have dudes who are 6'5" and 6'6" who can go up and high point a ball. Will Ancio was the best example of that. I mean, he's got a huge frame. He was a basketball player. He knows how to go up and pick a ball from up high. And then we haven't even mentioned transfer wide receivers. So I think there's going to be I think he will break that record. I think he's going to have more than 25 passing touchdowns. And I actually predicted that he would have less than 7 rushing touchdowns last week. And I think that's still probably true, but I think he gets enough passing touchdowns to more than make up for it. So I would take the over. I think he probably gets, call it 6 rushing touchdowns this season, and then 28 passing touchdowns.
28 and 6.
That would be like my ballpark.
So you're taking...
Okay, 29 and 6.
There you go.
There you go. 29 and 6.
I was going to say, that would have been the under.
Miscalculated.
But you're taking the one over the other. That's fine.
Yes.
Have you ever seen the show Wednesday on Netflix?
I watched one episode when it kind of first came out, and that's about it.
Well, there's at times where Wednesday can see in the past or see in the future. And she has these visions, lightning goes off, and she looks straight up in the sky, eyes get all big, and blood starts coming out of her, coming down as tears as she has these visions. Well, I had a very similar thing happen to me last night because I knew this segment was coming up, and I was able to see in the future. And what I mean about that future is there was just a sheet of stats in front of me. So I'm going to take this a step further. And I'm going to break this down for you when it comes to passing touchdowns. I'm going to break it down per receiver.
Oh, per
receiver.
Okay.
Because I'm just going to give you the spoiler alert right now. Avery Johnson is going to have 29 touchdown passes this year. 29. And he's going to have 8 rushing.
Okay. So increasing the rushing touchdowns.
He'll have 37 total touchdowns this year. 37. So I'm going to go 2.5 over on the 34.5. But I'm going to break it down by a guy that's going to catch these touchdowns.
Okay.
Never done this before. This is a very new thing. So who do you think I have down as the leading receiving touchdown baller this year?
Jace Brown.
Jace Brown is on my list as the number 1 guy.
Yeah.
He's going to be Avery's number 1 target. The, based on history, the best deep ball threat. Who knows what Ron Tibbs is going to do for K-State, but I hope it's good things.
The chemistry that's already there, too.
Plenty of chemistry. They're boys, same age.
Yep.
True juniors. Their numbers are right next to each other, 1 and 2. But 2's thrown to 1. Maybe someday we'll get 1 to 2. Who knows? We'll see. Jace Brown has 7 touchdowns this year. 7.
Okay. I like that. I like that number.
But Tibbs is going to have 6. We're going to have ourselves this year, ladies and gentlemen, a receiver battle. We're going to have some really legit competition.
For the number 1 wide receiver?
Is Avery's favorite guy.
Yeah.
We're going to turn this into a Netflix drama.
They
forget about that SEC show.
They make so many documentaries on Netflix. I mean, this is probably not far down the list.
Outside of those two, I'm going to give J.B. Bradley, I'm going to give him 3 touchdowns this year for J.B.
I'd be happy with that.
Out of the backfield, Dylan Edwards will have 3 touchdowns. Now with the tight ends, there's more competition now, legit competition. So I do not have the tight ends having as many touchdowns as they did last year, but they will spread out 10.
Yeah.
If you do the math, you've been keeping up.
Yep.
10 still out there. Garrett Oakley is going to have 4.
Okay.
Braden Lofton will have 2 like he did last year. Lincoln Cure is going to have 2 touchdowns. Could be very wrong about that, by the way. But I'm going to go with 2.
And then 1 for the remaining 2 guys?
1 for the Wills each. 1 for Will Swanson, 1 for Ancio.
I think
for
I
29.
would change Lofton and Ancio because I think Ancio is big. I think he's a little bit bigger than Lofton. I think. I could be just making that up.
Braden Lofton scored the first touchdown last year.
Will Ancio was big down the stretch, though. He was the guy kind of when there were some injuries in that tight end room. Outside of Garrett Oakley, of course.
He saw just 2. Still just 2.
I think he takes replicates his success from last season. I think he gets 2 again.
So you're disagreeing with me with the tight ends.
But just by
I would move the numbers around.
I would flitch 1 touchdown.
We don't need to get personal. I mean, you don't need to criticize me around every corner. I'm just trying to do something fun here, Cole. No, okay. I think, with the tight end stuff, it's a total crapshoot. Nobody thought 13 touchdowns to tight ends were going to happen last year.
No.
So I think there's a little bit of calibrating that has to take place.
For sure.
Unless they decide to up it, and I'm not going to be bored by it, that's for sure.
They want to flip Ian.
It'll be entertaining. Well, yeah. That's the goal this year. Hey, we're trying to go after another tight end.
14.
Although it does feel like they're kind of set for a while.
Yeah, they should be good.
It does feel like they do have plenty.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to try to up the talent pool, if you know what I mean.
Might as well. Athlete,
If it's not Brown, who do you think is the leading receiver in touchdowns? Do you think it's Tibbs?
I think
Would
it's
a tight end
probably
be able to
Tibbs or
dethrone him?
sneaky Garrett Oakley. I think Oakley is just the most well-rounded in that tight end group in terms of, what he's done in the past couple of years. I mean, Lincoln probably has more talent in terms of athleticism, but in terms of being polished as a collegiate tight end, it's probably Garrett Oakley. And he had some of his better games at the end of the season last year. I think back to the Iowa State game, even though there were a couple of drops, thanks to some freezing cold temperatures where catching balls are a little bit more difficult or a pass that's not right on the money. I think he's the most polished in that tight end room. I think he'll probably have the most opportunities. So if I was putting anyone over Jace, it might be Garrett Oakley if it wasn't Tibbs.
Who has the first touchdown catch of the year? Who catches the first touchdown in Dublin? Go and call your shot right now.
Jace Brown. I think, he toasted Iowa State last year amidst all of the swirling rumors about he's not going to play in this game. He's going to go into the transfer portal. He caught 2 touchdowns in that game, and he looked really good doing it. So I would say Jace Brown.
Yeah, deep ball right. There
was one on the 4th down where he basically ran just a straight post to the back pylon.
First score of the game.
Fed him over the shoulder. I don't remember what the others. I think the other score was another deep ball.
So the other one was a deep ball where he kind of caught it in traffic, broke a tackle, and then started running to the left and just. The second tackler was all messed up because of the first guy missing.
Yes.
On the tackle.
So yeah, I'll take JB. I'll take JC Brown. Scores first. On the receiving end of an Avery pass in Dublin.
Avery threw behind Oakley on in that fourth quarter with K-State down a touchdown or whatever it was.
Touchdown and 2-point conversion.
That's a 4th down play.
Yeah.
Man, again, I said this last week, but I think if Avery wanted one game back, it's in Ames, Iowa.
My whole
last
thing
year.
too this fits into the segment too with taking the over on Avery. I just think if last year is like 70% of Avery Johnson's capabilities as a quarterback in college, if he takes a 10-15% jump, he cleans up things like that, and all of a sudden he's scoring, like we've talked about in this segment, 35, 37, fill in the blank of how many touchdowns he's going to put on the board this season. I just think he's going to be much more polished this season. I think that, he and Coach Wells have talked about dissecting literally every single incomplete pass from last season. I think he's going to be just that much sharper this season compared to last year when there was definitely some meat left on the board throughout the season.
Well, to me, the number one thing he has to polish is throwing when there's pressure. And I'm not talking about physical pressure. I'm not talking about here comes an edge rusher, whether he's feeling it in the pocket, he's got to leave the pocket. Not like that. It's the pressure from the game or the situation or the scenario because things tend to snowball at that point, or when it's 4th down, it's 3 minutes left, and you're down a score at Iowa State to wrap up the regular season, and you throw a ball behind Oakley, which should have been an easy first down, things like that. Or at Houston.
Houston and Arizona State would be examples too.
The rain is coming down, and it's what it was, a 2nd or 3rd down, and you zip a slant route to Keegan or whoever it was, or Jace, and you throw it high and off the mark, and it was intercepted. And it just, some of those pressure plays, Avery wasn't sharp.
Or like a BYU after a fumble from DJ, not coming back and sailing the screen pass on the next play.
That was the earliest in a game. That's a great example of the game wasn't on the line at that point.
But still, like,
back-to-back
BYU
turnovers.
crowd is getting into it.
Yeah,
they're
in your
hyped
mind.
up. It's the end of the first half. After what just happened, you're like, please just get me into the second half with nothing else happening. And then obviously some other stuff happened.
Yeah, that place was going nuts, wasn't it?
It was rocking.
I think that could rattle anybody.
I mean, that is
you got to be a seasoned vet.
Yeah.
To be able to handle.
I mean, that was his first.
If you're playing college football 26, your screen is shaking. You don't know who's running what route. You can't even see the play clock on the scoreboard. You're just in a mess of a situation.
Well, that was like the first. Was that the first road game of the Big 12 season last year? So that's
Big 12
That's his first. Even though he played in Big 12 like Texas Tech the year before, that's his first. I'm starting this game. It's a big time matchup. We're the favorite team in terms of we're ranked. I think actually BYU might have been on the spread, might have had it. I don't remember exactly.
I want to say it was like a 3-point
That's
spread.
What I was thinking.
Was close.
Yeah.
Although K-State was, they were undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know I think BYU had gone perfect in non-con play as well. But K-State was ranked. BYU is still proving themselves. And that was probably, like, if you ask Avery, it goes back to the comments he made last week where he just put way too much unfair pressure on himself.
Sure.
That situation in Provo, with the place going nuts, probably the loudest environment he'd ever experienced, and he's throwing these just bad interceptions.
Even that play specifically, where, again, the crowd is rocking, his teammate just fumbled one. He's like, okay, let's get it back on this play, even though he might not be actually consciously thinking that. Right.
And then just 2 easy touchdowns, and BYU just blows it open. After just a freak of a play anyway. DJ Giddens fumbling.
Yeah.
That wasn't typically his issue. It was dropping passes was DJ's big bugaboo. By the way, he needs to get the ball more Colts. Get a better offensive line as well. You're not doing my boy any favors.
I think they just don't have their starters here. Because a lot of their offensive line, I mean, you look at Quentin
I
Nelson,
think
like he's a proven dude.
Well, yeah, but I think a couple of them were like in position battles or something like that.
I see.
Yeah, but I don't know. DJ's going to make the team. I think he's right now, I think he's looked as the number 2 guy.
He's in that competition for the number 2 spot. Like, he's not in danger of he's going to get left off the 53-man roster or anything like that. He's chilling.
All right, so we both take the over on Avery Johnson total touchdowns for 2025. Tomorrow we'll have a defensive question.
I like it.
And when we come back, very special guest we'll have on the phone, K-State soccer head coach Colleen Corbin. First game is on Thursday. The old ball coach joins us next on The Game.
Tweet The Game, KMAN, or call 537-1350 and get in touch with the show. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
That's the sound of flimsy vinyl or polymer siding giving way under pressure. Would you trust something like that on your home's exterior? You invest time and effort into making your home beautiful inside and out. You choose quality pieces that last. So why settle for siding that's essentially plastic? Vinyl or polymer siding can crack in extreme weather, fade like a forgotten photograph, and even warp, leaving your home looking less than its best. Now imagine the satisfying strength and lasting beauty of steel. Midland Exterior steel siding is the equivalent of choosing a timeless, well-crafted piece for your home's exterior. It resists cracking, warping, and fading, maintaining an elegant look and protecting your investment for up to 50 years. Don't let flimsy siding detract from the beauty and value of your home. Upgrade to the enduring strength and sophisticated style of steel siding from Midland Exteriors. Call us today for a free consultation at 855-735-8255 or see the beautiful difference at midlandexteriors.com. That's 855-735-8255 and midlandexteriors.com.
Stormont Vale Health is your go-to for exceptional care right in your own neighborhood.
The Flint Hills campus in Junction City is open 24/7 with a full-service hospital and rural health clinic. You'll find primary care and advanced lab services at our Wamego clinic to keep your family healthy without the drive. Our Manhattan campus offers a wide range of primary and specialty providers, plus imaging and lab services, and a pick-me-up at Radina's inside our campus. Visit StormontVale.org.
Stormont Vale Health. High-quality care closer to home.
Come on home to West Loop and Manhattan's West Side.
Adabus, providing and promoting the highest quality public transit services to the Flint Hills region.
Wildcat Fitness and Fun, our family providing your family fitness and fun since 1994.
West Loop Shopping Center, come on home to West Loop on Manhattan's West Side.
Come home to West Loop and Manhattan's West Side.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
There are many times I thought, I can't do this. I mean, what parent isn't worried about, what am I not doing right? What am I not doing enough? And then I realized, wait, that's being a parent.
Don't worry about being perfect. I've had around 3 other mother figures in my life, but only one of them has taught me how a mother loves.
The greatest reward for me is he makes me better every day.
I would tell a family considering adopting a teenager that teenager, whoever it is, needs you, and they need what you have to offer.
Taylor's given me hope. He's our son, and that is what he will always be.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Ever tried balancing a dozen eggs in one hand while hopping on one foot? Or maybe juggling cats while riding the unicycle? Sounds ridiculous, right? But guess what? That's exactly what texting while driving is like. Your human brain only has the capacity to focus on one thing at a time. So when you're behind the wheel, give driving your undivided attention.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
I'm Cole Dutchendorf with a Game Sports update. For the 3rd straight year, Kansas State football will start the season ranked. On Monday, the season-opening AP poll was released, and the Wildcats were ranked 17th overall, one of 4 Big 12 teams to start the year in the top 25. Arizona State, last season's Big 12 title winner, came in as the top-ranked team to start the year at 11th, while Iowa State and Texas Tech were 22nd and 23rd overall. That officially sets up a ranked bout for the Wildcats to start the season when K-State and the Cyclones meet up in Dublin. A handful of K-State's other opponents were unranked but received votes, including BYU, Utah, and Baylor, who were the first 3 teams out of the top 25, and TCU, Army, and Colorado, who also garnered votes. The Wildcats will attempt to start and finish the season ranked for the first time since 2014. Former Big 12 foe Texas opens the season as the number 1 team in the country, followed by Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, and Georgia to round out the top 5. The Kansas City Chiefs signed defensive end Nate Matlack ahead of training camp practice this morning. Matlack, a product of Olathe East and former Wildcat, transferred to Pitt to finish his collegiate career. His signature play as a Wildcat came in 2023 in the Sunflower Showdown when he hurdled an offensive lineman and blocked a point after attempt before Keenan Garber returned it for a 2-point conversion.
We're back on the game. Mitch and Cole with you until 6 o'clock. Coming up on Thursday, August 14th, it is the game that kicks off officially the K-State Athletics 25-26 calendar. Oral Roberts come to town for a soccer matchup at Boozer Family Park, and we got a new head coach in town to lead K-State to some big wins and some big seasons. Colleen Corbin now joins us here on the game. And, Coach, really appreciate your time joining us for a few moments. And I was looking up your hometown in California. You're from Southern California. It looks like La Canada, but I'm sure that's not how you pronounce it. How do you pronounce your hometown?
Yeah, it's La Cañada. The little Enya over the N gives it a little bit of a different sound. So, yeah, La Cañada.
What was it like? We're about the same age. What was it like growing up in Southern California during the 90s and early 2000s? What did you guys do when you were growing up?
Yeah, it was great. Like, Locking Out is in the LA area, so we weren't necessarily in Los Angeles, but we were kind of tucked up against the mountains, actually, where my neighborhood was, and we were also really close to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, so definitely access to a lot of different, amenities and things like that, but we could also get into the mountains really easily, so snowboarding and hiking and camping, but then my family was a big beach family, so we went to the beach a lot, and I surfed a lot growing up, which is now pretty ironic because after having left and moved away, I went to school at Oregon State, which is in Corvallis, Oregon, which is about as much of a 180 as you can make. Yeah. And turns out like that is much more my actual identity and personality, and I love being a college town girl, and my family's still in the LA area, so I get to go back and visit them and say hi, but I'm really glad I left the LA area, and I'm really happy to be here in Manhattan, so it all worked out.
I was about to ask, like, do you miss like places like In-N-Out Burger now that you're out of that area?
Yeah, I mean, every time I go back, I definitely try to go to In-N-Out because it is for sure a classic. But I think it actually makes it more special that I just get to do it every time I go back instead of always having access to it.
What was something cool that you attended when it was when you went to the Rose Bowl?
I mean, we were big Rose Parade people, so we went to the Rose Parade all the time. But my grandpa actually coached basketball at USC, and my dad played basketball at USC. Yeah, and so we actually went to a couple of Rose Bowl games that USC was in when I was growing up. So that was pretty fun.
Is the hype? Does it live up to the hype? Is that something everybody needs to see one time?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty special environment, and just, I don't know, kicking off the new year in the Rose Bowl is pretty fun. And the Rose Parade is something that a lot of people, especially outside of the West Coast, don't really know a whole lot about, but they do all the staging for the floats in the Rose Parade around the Rose Bowl, and you can go and look at them afterwards, and that's a pretty unique experience, too. So that's something I always enjoy watching on TV on New Year's Day.
Well, here in Manhattan, Coach, you got the big home opener coming up on Thursday, and your team, obviously, you guys been at work for months now to get ready for this matchup with exhibitions and practice and strength and conditioning. I remember you telling us during Media Day about the conditioning program and the test and the players. I had asked the players about it, and they talked about how tough it was. Can you give us an idea and exactly with that test, what did these players have to pass necessarily to get on the field?
Yeah, so it's called the Nike Spark Yo-Yo Test. It's basically a series of intermittent runs where they need to keep time with an audio track. And the audio track, there's a series of beeps, and they have to hit a certain mark every time the beep goes off. And the beeps actually get faster as the test goes on, and so they need to basically continue to run until they hit a certain level, and that's what we consider passing. And it's definitely for sure, a stamina and endurance, a cutting test, but it's also really a pretty big mental capacity challenge as well. So, it's obviously not the end all be all, but it is for us, just setting the standard of this is a baseline and this is, bare minimum of where we need to be. And then from here, hopefully we're going to continue to push and build and grow, and everyone, will have the opportunity to continue to prove themselves on the field as well.
Yeah, and the whole team has passed the test, so you're ready to go for a full roster. This is obviously not just a new coaching staff. There's a lot of new players on this team. It's also a young team as well. But you have your leadership council. You have your players that you're going to be looking upon to lead your team to some big wins. If we don't know them yet, who do you think we're going to be getting to know right out of the gate here in these first couple of matches that you're going to be playing at home that are going to be key figures that you're hoping that will lead your team this year?
Yeah, you know what? I think it's a question that's come up a lot in the last few weeks, and I really am honestly just excited to see who puts their hand up. We've had a lot of big growth moments from a lot of different players in a lot of different positions, and I think across the board in all position groups, there are players that have had a lot of growth and shown sparks of greatness in different opportunities, and so. Right now, I think our staff is excited to see who steps up, who really does decide to put their hand up and put the team on their shoulders and help us win in big moments in big games. And I think, we do have some leaders and some veterans returning, and Paige Dixon, Andrew Moeller that have been around, but we also have some incoming freshmen, some transfers. Our goalkeeper, Maddie Sibbing, is a really experienced player, and so we expect her to add some solid defense between the pipes back there for us. But really, it's wide open right now, and I think that's what's really exciting about our group is that we really feel like anyone at any given moment can be impactful and help us win a game. So I'm just as excited as everybody else is to see who really steps up in these moments.
So when it comes to an identity or tempo or pressing or things like that, is that still, do you feel like it's a work in progress? You're still learning what your players can and can't do, or is it something that you wanted to establish early on as maybe it's also a part of your identity of what you like to do in this sport?
Yeah, it's always going to be a work in progress. We're never going to be a finished product, and I think that's one of the coolest parts about coaching, about playing a team sport is, you're consistently going to get new players, new energy, new ideas, and, us as a staff, I'd like to think that we're going to continue to grow and develop, and our ideas are going to change and shift. And so right now, I think the team has a really good idea and understanding of who we are and what we do and how we do it, and doesn't mean we're going to do it perfect every time, and it doesn't mean that we're not going to fail, but I think they do have a very clear vision as to when we don't have the ball, what should that look like, and when we do have the ball, what are we trying to accomplish. And so, I talked about it a little bit, again, at that media day, but when we don't have the ball, we're going to work our butt off to get it back. And I think there's definitely a grit and a mentality and a bite that this group is continuing to develop, and I think we're going to turn the ball over in really dangerous parts of the field, and we're going to cause some problems. And then when we do win the ball back, the girls are continuing to develop their confidence on the ball and have some creativity and come up with some different ideas. And we really want to empower them to be decision makers when they're out on the field and to read what the game is giving them. And it's been fun to kind of see that creativity and that confidence come through in the last few months.
You actually got kind of a full weekend. It used to be Friday, Sundays mostly. Now it's mostly Thursday, Sundays, but Portland State is also coming in. I'm sure soccer is the same thing where it's just a lot of transfers. You're sometimes building a new roster or maybe a portion of your roster, so maybe sometimes scouting is a little bit harder. But have you been able to scout these two teams in full, or is it a lot of maybe some things you just got to find out on the field on Thursday and Sunday?
Yeah, we're going to give it our best shot. We're still going to give the kids a scout, and we're going to talk about what we think it might look like. But to your point, at the end of the day, we don't really know. They've played exhibitions just like we have, but typically coaches don't end up exchanging information about exhibition games, and so we're pretty much going in blind, more so into Thursday than Sunday. At least for our Sunday game, we'll be able to watch Portland State's game, on Thursday. I believe they play Iowa State on Thursday. So we'll be able to watch that game and potentially have a little bit of a better understanding, but it's so early on in the season that, really everyone's kind of throwing darts and seeing what sticks. And so I think we're going to really just be focused on trying to make sure that we lean into our identity as much as possible and that we feel like we're the best version of ourselves that we can be.
Coach, just to wrap up, I just want to know, how excited are you for your first matchup with K-State on Thursday?
Oh, just over the moon. Honestly, I think, again, I'm looking forward mostly just for the girls, right? I'm excited for them to be able to show the fan base what it looks like, how they've, how hard they've been working and just how different it feels. And, again, every moment we get to step on the field and compete is a gift. And, we've tried to talk about that at length, just what an incredible opportunity everyone has every single day to show up and put their best foot forward. And, these game days are sacred and you only get so many of them in your career. And we are going to value every single moment that we get to play on this field at Boozer. And I know everyone is just really, really looking forward to having the opportunity to compete together and, again, show the fan base, what this new K-State soccer brand looks like and hopefully come away with a result.
Coach, good luck this Thursday, and congratulations on making it this far, and I cannot wait to see your team play on Thursday. Appreciate your time, and we'll see you out there at Boozer.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. Go Cats.
That's K-State News soccer head coach Colleen Corbin, ready to go. And she's right. You can only know so much about an opponent. It's game one. You got yourself a new team as well. Go out there and play the sport. These girls have been playing this sport for a very long time. This is a sport you start when you're 4 or 5 years old, just kicking the ball around. No real strategy. These girls have been playing club sports, and, it's time to go. And I've always looked forward to this time of the year. Soccer kicking it off. I called K-State soccer for a number of years. I started with the team in 2016 and called the games through the pandemic year in 2020. So I'm excited as just about anybody to see this new era of K-State soccer.
She's bringing in some great energy, too. I think it's a needed energy for the soccer program, and I mean, I would think that it's going to translate to what we see on the field as well, just based on hearing her talk.
For those who don't know, and if you're going, which I hope you can, Thursday night, August 14th, this Thursday, the game kicks off at 6:30. It's a whiteout. So if you're going to the matchup, make sure to wear white. Also, it's a good thing to go buy your white now because August 30th at the Bill, it's a stripe-out game. It's a home opener at the Bill. North Dakota's in town, and we're going to be striping out the Bill. It's been looking a lot better over the years. But if you happen to be in one of the white shirt sections, get your white now. Head out to Boozer for a season and home opener against Oral Roberts at 6:30 on August 14th. All right, we'll wrap up the game coming up next. News Radio KMAN.
Sports. Takes it down the left sideline, wants Terry. Terry's got it. Headed for the end zone. K-State leads it.
This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Dollars spent locally today help build a better community for tomorrow.
WTC Fiber Internet is on its way to all of Manhattan. Sign your home or business up today at WTCKS.com. No contracts, no data caps, or overage fees. Fast, local, reliable. WTC Fiber Internet. Sign up today at WTCKS.com.
It's time for spring cleanup. Find what you need and the brands you love at Midwest Ace Hardware. Make yard cleanup easy with Ego or Stihl trimmers and blowers. Fertilize and seed your lawn with Scotts. And enjoy cookouts all summer long with Traeger, Blackstone, Weber, or Big Green Egg. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks.
For a once-in-a-lifetime experience, engagement ring shopping simply can't be duplicated on a computer screen. At Fifely Jewelers, you'll be pleasantly surprised by our pricing compared to buying online, and we offer financing. Plus, you'll have peace of mind by shopping locally with Fifely Jewelers.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Find more great local businesses plus special deals and offers when you keep it local on our website.
Here's something you might not expect. The Manhattan Mercury and Manhattan Broadcasting now offer blueprint printing and scanning. We've been printing locally for over 100 years. And now we're putting that expertise to work for your plans. We do same-day turnaround, can pick up or deliver. And our pricing? Yeah, it beats the big guys. If you're in need, email blueprints@themercury.com or call 776-1350. Local businesses helping local businesses. That's how we grow together.
Got a face for radio and a voice that won't quit? Good news! Manhattan Broadcasting is hiring for on-air staff.
No experience? That's okay. We'll teach you how to push buttons, crack jokes, and pronounce Wamigo like a local.
All you need is a killer personality and the drive to learn. This is your chance to talk for a living and not get in trouble for it.
Apply now and let the mic be your stage. Go to manhattanbroadcasting.com/jobs for more info.
Manhattan Broadcasting Company is an equal opportunity employer.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Freddie Coleman.
You knew no matter how it looked like when the game was over, when it comes to Shedeur Sanders making the first start for his NFL career, even though it was preseason with the Cleveland Browns with so many quarterback injuries in front of him, you know the conversation was going to be fair and unfair, positive and negative, different or indifferent, but it was going to be something involving what people thought they saw or what they were wishing to see on Friday night. From my eyes, he looked like a guy in terms of being in control of what he was going to be in control of. That was getting his team into the right plays. He was going to look like a rookie quarterback at times. And then there were other times he looked like a guy that had been around the NFL for about 3 to 4 years. In other words, that was what I expected to see from Shedeur Sanders based on what I had a chance to see him do at Jackson State, first time in college football, and then he went with his dad to Colorado. So no matter what you think about Shedeur Sanders, there can be no denying this. If he didn't open eyes inside that Cleveland Browns organization in terms of being a quarterback this year, then those eyes were always going to be closed. We'll see exactly how the evaluation becomes of that. In 60 seconds, how long for the New York Giants with their rookie quarterback?
Your fantasy draft is here. The Smack Talk is starting, and this season, ESPN Bet is giving you more ways to ride with your squad. Introducing ESPN Bet Fan Center, where you can instantly link and bet on your fantasy teams right in the ESPN Bet app. An enhanced sports betting experience only from ESPN Bet, the sports book for sports fans. Download the app today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
We're brought to you today by GNC. Hope I'm not interrupting your workout routine, but the GNC Live Well sale is going on right now. Buy one, get one, 50% off everything in the store and at GNC.com. That's right, everything. Protein, pre-workout, creatine, vitamins, supplements, and so much more. Go for it all and don't miss out. At GNC, nutrition isn't just the department, it's the whole freaking store. You got goals, GNC has results. Visit your local GNC store or go to GNC.com.
I don't know what was more impressive after Jackson Dart's pro debut for the New York Giants at quarterback on Saturday versus the Buffalo Bills. His play on the field or a lot of people's reactions on social media regarding his mom, the way she looked standing with her son looking like she just came out of a gym showroom once the game was over. Either way, if you're the New York Giants, it's always too soon to make any kind of decision, no matter what a rookie quarterback looks like or the veterans in front of him, what they look like or did not look like. But it does beg the question, if you're head coach Brian Daboll and general manager Joe Shane, if Jackson Dart keeps progressing like this, then how long do you keep him on the bench? Many people believe the New York Giants, even though defensively they should be good, are not going to be a good football team. And boy, oh boy, Google their schedule, see exactly what I'm talking about. But if Jackson Dart keeps looking like this and Russell Wilson keeps being checked down Charlie, maybe that decision comes sooner than later for the boys in Big Blue in New York. For the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio's Freddie and Harry.
After a run to the 6A state championship last season, Manhattan High takes to the field September 5th on News Radio KMAN.
Touchdown! Manhattan High with 2 seconds to go!
Join Mitch Fortner and Gold Dutchendorf each Friday night as the Indians pursue another Centennial League title and push for another playoff slot.
Florida, he'll be set!
The home of the Tribe. News Radio KMAN. News Radio KMAN. Weather.
Still 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms as we head into the evening, and also a 20% chance of rain between 1 and 2 a.m. with patchy fog after 4 a.m. for tonight with an overnight low of 66. Fog tomorrow morning before 9 a.m. Otherwise, mostly sunny and a high near 86. Mostly clear skies on Tuesday night and a low around 65. Right now, mostly cloudy and 79 degrees.
All right, before we get to Ask Us Anything, K-State preseason ranked number 17 in the AP poll. I think that's totally fair. Don't have a whole lot of problems with that. I would also add probably Michigan to my overrated list. I think Florida's okay at 15, SMU 16, fine, whatever. South Carolina probably a little overrated. But they got a tough schedule. Oklahoma has a tough schedule as well. And Oklahoma coming in at number 18. As long as K-State's ahead of them, whatever. Indiana's probably overrated. I think an underrated. I mean, if Tech has the best team money can buy, we'll see. That's all we can say. We'll see. I mean, they're kind of in that, hey, we should be good, but we got to prove it area. I'm fine with. I don't really have a whole lot of problem. It's not like this thing matters anyway. Also, one other thing I want to mention, Austin Romaine has been named to the watch list for the Chuck Bednarik Award, which it does a very good job of not going to anybody from the Big 12. Travis Hunter did win it last year, best defensive player in the country is who that goes to. I think that's only the second time a Big 12 player has ever won the Chuck Bednarik. So odds are not in Austin Romaine's favor, but he certainly deserves this tip of the cap for another preseason accolade that Austin is going to do his best to ignore. Good luck. I know where my head is at. If I was getting a bunch of preseason stuff, I'm feeling like a baller.
He said he deleted Twitter at the beginning of the summer and that his teammates have been updating him.
The last time he tweeted was August 15th. Or, sorry, April 15th. It was a retweet, actually, where he was named top 150 best players of college football 2025 by CBS Sports, but that was 4 months ago. Yeah, he doesn't even tweet anyway. Yeah, it's a bunch of retweets. If it's just a bunch of retweets, don't worry about having Twitter, I guess. I don't know. He's only tweeted 308 times, and he's had this thing since the pandemic.
He's a real axe to the grindstone type of guy.
He still has a picture of himself in high school as his banner photo.
I like it. Staying in his roots.
All right, let's play a little Ask Us Anything. What do you got today?
Well, feel like recently I brought up the longest like car trip. So I want to go to the air. What's the longest flight that you've taken before Ireland?
Yeah, it's about to be
That's
a week
why I got
from
it in
Wednesday.
right now, yeah. Because how long is it? It's like 12 hours?
And since I'm technically also going to be there in a K-State capacity doing the PA, I'm flying with the team. Everybody's going on one plane, which is crazy. But it's a direct flight from Kansas City to Dublin, which is
insane.
Really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw Tim Fitzgerald go Power Cat having
some flight
nightmares with
Yes.
American Airlines, and boy, I'm glad they got that worked out. You said
it got worked out?
It got worked out. You said what's the longest plane ride?
Flight.
I don't think it's been that long, maybe 3 or 4 hours. There was one time coming back from somewhere east of us from here. We were in the air for we were flying into Kansas City. I was with the soccer team. And we were flying in, and there was a thunderstorm rolling in Kansas City at the time we were supposed to land. So we had to just do circles over downtown Kansas City for like 30 minutes to an hour.
I see.
Because we were waiting for this storm to pass. We had to go to Omaha to refuel and then back up in the air, and we were able to come to Kansas City. But honestly, uninterrupted, longest flight probably 4 hours. I've flown so many times, I don't think I could tell you where that was from.
I haven't been on many flights. Total, it's single digits still. I haven't been on double digit flights. It's like 2. I'm trying to add it up right now on the fly. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're at 8. We're at 8 total in my lifetime of flights. I've gone to.
What was the coolest place you've Disney World?
Hawaii was
that's
number
good.
one.
That's
and that was
longest.
the longest flight. It was from Detroit to Hawaii.
Jesus.
So that was 9 hours.
Oh, God.
So actually it's at 9 because I forgot about the connecting flight from Kansas City to Detroit. That was terrible. I hate long flights. I've been
that
on
was
one
definitely the
in
cheap
my
route.
life.
The cheapest you could find.
Because on the way back it was LAX and then Salt Lake City and then Kansas City. So that was a lot more manageable. But yeah, 9 total. I flew from Denver to Wichita when my brother and I were visiting family over there without my parents. They were in Washington at the time.
Okay.
So that was my first. Actually, it was a connecting flight in Dallas. So it was Denver to Dallas to Wichita. That was my first ever flight. I flew to Minneapolis for something for school a couple of summers ago. That wasn't too. That was like an hour and a half flight
Quick
or something.
One. Sure.
And then Hawaii to LAX was 5 hours, I think. But the rest of that, I would much prefer broken up flights, like 5 hours to LA, and then like 2 hours to Salt Lake, and then 2 hours to Kansas City, then 9 hours in one fell swoop. That was terrible.
Would you recommend Hawaii to
I
vacation?
would, but I would bring more money than we did.
Expensive?
Yeah, it's just so you can do more stuff. Like we were pretty much, most of our budget was just like kind of exploring the local cuisine. I think it would have been cool to do like the touristy stuff.
Where'd you go?
It was Honolulu. So
you did downtown stuff in Honolulu?
We did a couple of...
You're not supposed to go there.
It wasn't like super expensive stuff, but there was some stuff in the area. I would have done like helicopter flights and stuff like that instead of like the... Yes. That would be my... If I did it again, that's what I would do.
Honestly, I think I'd rather go to Alaska instead of Hawaii. If I was to go to 49 or 50, probably picking Alaska.
It was nice. It was fun. I liked Hawaii.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. Back for 2 hours tomorrow for Cole. I'm Mitch. Go Cats.